Hi everyone! Today I'm bringing you a topic that's shaking up the Turkish entertainment world. New rumors about the love lives of Can Yaman, Demet Özdemir, and Sara Bluma. Get comfortable, because this story has several layers. First, the trigger. In recent days, the news of the breakup between Can Yaman and Sara Bluma exploded. Even though both unfollowed each other on social media, neither has deleted posts, and their comments have been quite ambiguous. That already raised suspicions. But what came next was even stronger. According to what's circulating in the media, Can's mother, Guldem Yaman, has supposedly decided to step in. How? Reportedly, she went to the set of the series Ezra Fruya to speak face-to-face with Demet Özdemir, an actress who, as many remember, once held a special place in Can's life. That alleged meeting would have caused an earthquake in the industry. Because if the mother moves, it means something serious is happening behind the scenes. And what does Demet's side say? Just a few days ago, she reportedly told people close to her something very clear: that Can's life and relationships are none of her business, that she also doesn't fully believe in this breakup, and that it all feels like a move to keep Sara in the spotlight. She stressed that she's focused on her work and her own life. In other words, total distance, at least in words. That's why Guldem's supposed gesture left everyone stunned. Did they really meet if there are still hard feelings? And above all, could a conversation like that soften Demet's stance? Tabloids claim that Guldem sees Demet as the best option for Can to regain reputation and stability after the scandal with Sara. The Can-Demet pairing has made headlines for years, both because of their on-screen chemistry and rumors of a past romance. Behind the scenes, people even say things like, "He was happier with Demet," or "His mother was always open to that relationship." Now some believe there could be a second chance. So what supposedly happened on set? Leaked versions say Guldem was seen there, went into a room, and spoke with Demet for a few minutes. Demet was reportedly surprised. The talk was cordial but completely private, and afterward, an odd silence fell over the set, as if nobody wanted to talk about what happened. Meanwhile, Can Yaman is keeping absolute silence. He's in Italy, hasn't made any statements about the breakup, and has only posted workout photos. But several journalists interpret this silence in one way. If Can is quiet, it's because something big is being prepared off-camera. It's even rumored that he learned about the crisis with Sara from his mother, and that she continued discussing it with him privately. On the other side, Sara Bluma hasn't said anything concrete either, but she would be uncomfortable with Demet's name returning to the center of the story. Some sources say she told her close circle that all of this had been planned from the start. And note this detail: the Italian press has also started to follow the situation closely, because Can has a huge fan base there, and any move becomes international news. Every time I see Demet Özdemir's name reappear linked to Can Yaman, one thing becomes clear to me. Demet has been turned into a canvas on which many people paint nostalgia, illusions, or anger, depending on the moment. And to me, that's deeply unfair. Because when I read the comments going around, I feel that she's mentioned less as the real person she is today and more as a symbol. The couple some still idealize, the chapter others believe ended bitterly. The missing piece that would supposedly make a story look perfect again. And honestly, I don't think Demet should have to carry that endless movie on her back. The first thing I notice is how fed up many people are with the sense of manipulation. Some say that after the presentation of Sandokan, a huge romantic announcement could arrive to cover any scandal, as if everything were calculated down to the millimeter. We don't know if that will happen, but the suspicion alone says a lot. Trust is damaged, and when trust breaks, every public gesture is interpreted as marketing. In that climate, Demet gets trapped anyway. Even if she does nothing, her name returns not because of what she says now, but because of what others fantasize it might mean tomorrow. I'm quite uncomfortable seeing part of the fandom treat the Can Demet story like a product that can be revived whenever it's convenient, as if Demet were stored in a box, ready to be brought out when a romantic twist or a smokescreen is needed. That way of looking at a woman as a tool for someone else's narrative feels reductive to me. Demet has her own path, a public identity that doesn't depend on returning to any romance. And yet, some people keep dragging her back there again and again. I'm also struck by the tone of certain comments filled with aggression and distrust toward the woman of the moment or lies. Even if those phrases were aimed at someone else, they come from an environment where the women around Ken are judged extremely harshly. Demet doesn't escape that logic. For some people, it seems women in these stories can only be flawless angels or self-interested villains. There's no middle ground, no right to change, no possibility of simply moving on with your life. If Demet doesn't appear, it's read as coldness. If she appears, it's assumed to be calculation. It's an absurd trap. That's why, when I think of Demet within all this noise, I don't see her as someone pulling strings, but as someone who's been given a label she never asked for. Some fans remember her fondly because she represents a bright, simpler, or prettier time in their memory, but other people's nostalgia isn't her responsibility. Nobody should have to live up to someone else's memories. It seems far more reasonable to accept that that story, if it existed as people say or imagine, belongs to the past, and that Demet today is in a different place with different priorities. And speaking of priorities, what interests me about her is exactly what stays outside the gossip. Her work, her ability to build characters, to maintain a public presence without feeding off constant scandal. That's why it bothers me that she's brought up only to fill a romantic narrative. It's as if the public has two buttons: Demet, ideal partner, and Demet, media weapon, and can't see her as a complete artist. I don't want that cutout Demet. I prefer the Demet who doesn't fit into the script others try to write for her. In the end, my feeling is that Demet has been pulled into a conversation she doesn't control. People mention her to attack someone, or to save someone, to justify strategies, or to soothe fandom frustrations. And most likely, she's simply living her life, without that collective need to rebuild a perfect story. I perceive her as freer than many want to admit, and maybe that's why her name makes so much noise. In short, I don't think Demet is a movable piece in a commercial plan or a supporting character in Can's life. She seems to me like a woman turned into a myth by the public, for better or worse, who pays the price of that myth every time her name circulates without a real reason. I hope they let her breathe outside that framework, because Demet doesn't need to return to any fairy tale to have value. She already has her voice, her career, and her own story. And that should be enough.